Hey, mystery seekers. I'm Jake, your guide through the unexplained here at Midnight Mysteries. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss a single chilling tale. Tonight, we're tackling a case that's haunted investigators, families, and conspiracy theorists for over a decade. Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370 didn't just disappear, it vanished in a way that defies logic, leaving behind questions that still keep us up at night. Let's dive into the timeline, the theories, and the clues that make this one of the most baffling mysteries of our time. Imagine boarding a routine flight, settling into your seat, expecting to land safely in a few hours. Now imagine that plane vanishing, completely, without a trace. No wreckage, no distress call, no answers. Just gone. On March 8, 2014, Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370 disappeared into the night, carrying 239 souls and sparking one of the greatest aviation mysteries in history. What happened to MH370? Was it an accident, a hijacking, or something far more sinister? Welcome to Midnight Mysteries, where we dive into the shadows of the unknown. Buckle up, because tonight we're unraveling the enigma of Flight MH370.
Still no trace of Malaysia Airlines Flight 370, which went missing yesterday morning.
If that's the case, then isn't it surprising that we haven't seen any debris anywhere?
You know, what we're given here is a large jigsaw puzzle that has normally 1,000 pieces. And someone tossed 20 pieces at us and said, here, you figure out what this is supposed to represent.
It's just after midnight on March 8, 2014, at Kuala Lumpur International Airport in Malaysia. Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370, a Boeing 737-200ER, is preparing for a routine red-eye flight to Beijing, China. The plane is a workhorse of the skies, reliable, modern, and equipped with cutting-edge technology. On board are 227 passengers from 14 countries, including families, business travelers, and a group of artists returning from an exhibition. The crew of 12, led by Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah, a 53-year-old veteran pilot with over 18,000 flight hours, is ready for the 6-hour journey. At 12:41 a.m., MH370 takes off smoothly, climbing into the night sky. Air traffic control clears the flight to its cruising altitude of 35,000 feet. The weather is clear, the plane is in perfect condition, and everything seems normal. At 1:07 a.m., the crew sends a routine message to air traffic control, confirming their position over the South China Sea. Then at 1:19 a.m., Captain Zahari signs off with a casual, "Good night, Malaysian 370. It's the last confirmed communication from the flight. But here's where things get strange. Just 2 minutes later, at 1:21 a.m., the plane's transponder, the device that broadcasts its location, suddenly goes silent. Air traffic controllers in Kuala Lumpur lose contact with MH370 on their radar screens. The plane is still flying, but it's no longer communicating its position. Military radar later reveals something even more bizarre. MH370 makes a sharp, unexplained turn to the west, deviating from its planned route to Beijing and heading back over the Malaysian peninsula. This wasn't a small course correction. The plane turned 180 degrees, flying in the opposite direction of its destination. And here's the kicker. No one on board sent a distress call. No mayday, no emergency signal, nothing. It's as if the plane just decided to go rogue. But how and why? Let's follow the timeline to see where this gets even weirder. By 2:15 a.m., military radar tracks MH370 flying over the Andaman Sea, far off its intended path. It's heading toward a remote region of the Indian Ocean. At this point, the plane's ACAR system, another communication tool that sends maintenance data, stops transmitting. The last radar ping places MH370 near the Andaman and Nicobar Islands at around 2:22 a.m. After that, nothing. The plane vanishes from all tracking systems. It's like it slipped into a void. But there's one final clue. Thanks to a satellite operated by Inmarsat, a British company, we know MH370 didn't just disappear instantly. The plane's satellite communication system sent automated handshakes, pings that confirm it's still operational, for another 6 hours, until 8:19 a.m. These pings suggest MH370 flew for nearly 3,000 miles, likely into the southern Indian Ocean, before it presumably ran out of fuel. But where did it go? And why was no one able to find it? As dawn breaks on March 8, 2014, air traffic control realizes something is terribly wrong. Malaysia Airlines raises the alarm, and a massive international search begins. Over 40 ships and 34 aircraft from countries like Australia, China, and the United States comb the South China Sea, where MH370 was last reported. But they're looking in the wrong place. It's not until days later, when military radar data is analyzed, that the search shifts to the Andaman Sea and eventually the southern Indian Ocean. This search wasn't just big, it was unprecedented, covering millions of square miles of some of the most remote ocean on Earth. It became the largest and most expensive aviation search in history, costing over $150 million. Australia led the effort using sonar, underwater drones, and satellite data. But the southern Indian Ocean is vast, deep, and unforgiving, with trenches plunging over 20,000 feet. Finding a plane there, it's like looking for a needle in a haystack the size of a continent. For weeks, then months, the search yields nothing. No wreckage, no black boxes, no bodies. Families of the passengers are left in limbo, clinging to hope while grappling with grief. The world watches, desperate for answers. Then in July 2015, over a year later, a breakthrough. A piece of debris, a flaperon from a Boeing 777, washes up on Réunion Island, 3,500 miles from the suspected crash site in the southern Indian Ocean. Experts confirm it's from MH370, the first physical evidence of the plane. Over the next few years, more debris washes up on beaches in Mauritius, Madagascar, and South Africa. But these fragments raise more questions than answers. Why are they so scattered? Why no major wreckage? And where are the black boxes, the flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder, that could finally reveal what happened? Here's where it gets frustrating. The black boxes are designed to emit signals for 30 days, but the search didn't focus on the southern Indian Ocean until weeks after the disappearance. By then, the signals were long gone. The underwater search, led by Australia, covered 120,000 square kilometers but was called off in January 2017 with no significant finds. A private company, Ocean Infinity, tried again in 2018, but they too came up empty. So what happened to MH370? Let's explore the leading theories. With so little evidence, theories about MH370 range from plausible to outright wild. Let's start with the most grounded one: mechanical failure. Mechanical failure. Could MH370 have suffered a catastrophic failure like a fire or depressurization? A fire in the cockpit could explain the transponder and ACAR shutting off, as well as the lack of communication. Depressurization might have rendered the crew and passengers unconscious, leaving the plane on autopilot until it ran out of fuel. But here's the problem. The Boeing 777 is built with redundancies to prevent such failures. And why the sharp turn west? A mechanical issue doesn't fully explain the plane's deliberate change in course. 2. Pilot involvement. This brings us to a darker theory: pilot involvement. Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah was an experienced pilot, but investigators found something intriguing. Zahari had a home flight simulator, and data recovered from it showed he'd practiced a route eerily similar to MH370's suspected path into the southern Indian Ocean. Was this a coincidence, or was Zahari planning something? Some speculate he deliberately diverted the plane, perhaps due to personal issues or a political statement. His family denies this, pointing to his stable life and passion for flying. But without the black boxes, we can't rule it out. Now, I know what you're thinking. Blaming the pilot feels too easy, right? But the data from his simulator is hard to ignore. Still, there's no definitive evidence he did anything wrong. So let's consider another possibility: hijacking. 3. Hijacking or terrorism. Could MH370 have been hijacked? 2 passengers boarded with stolen passports, raising red flags. But Interpol later cleared them, confirming they were Iranian asylum seekers, not terrorists. Still, the plane's sharp turn and disabled system suggest someone with aviation knowledge was in control. Was it a passenger, a crew member, or an outside force? No group claimed responsibility, and no terrorist motive has been confirmed. But in a post-9/11 world, this theory can't be dismissed. 4. Shot down or military involvement. Here's where things get wild. Some theorize MH370 was shot down, either accidentally or intentionally, perhaps during a military exercise or due to crossing restricted airspace. The plane's path took it near the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, a sensitive military zone. Could a nation have mistaken it for a threat? There's no evidence of missile activity, and governments involved in the search, including Malaysia, Australia, and the US, deny this. But the lack of transparency fuels suspicion. I've conspiracy theories, and then there are the fringe theories. Some claim MH370 was abducted by aliens or sucked into a black hole. Others say it was remotely hacked using advanced cyber technology, redirecting it to a secret location like Diego Garcia, a US military base in the Indian Ocean. While these ideas make for great sci-fi, they lack credible evidence. Still, they show how desperate people are for answers when the truth remains out of reach. Each theory has holes. Mechanical failure doesn't explain the deliberate turn. Pilot involvement feels plausible but lacks motive. Hijacking is possible but has no clear evidence. And the conspiracy stuff? Well, it's fun to think about, but it's a stretch. So where does that leave us? Let's look at the latest developments and what they might mean. Even today in 2025, the mystery of MH370 remains unsolved. The official search ended in 2017, but private efforts continue. Ocean Infinity, a marine robotics company, has expressed interest in resuming the search, using advanced underwater drones. In 2024, they proposed a new contract with Malaysia to scan a refined area of the southern Indian Ocean, based on updated Inmarsat data and ocean drift models. If they find the wreckage, they'll be paid $70 million. As of now, Malaysia is still reviewing the proposal. Debris analysis has given us some clues. The flaperon found on Réunion Island showed signs of being deployed, suggesting the plane may have glided before crashing, not dived nose first. Ocean drift models point to a crash site near the 7th Arc, a curved line in the Indian Ocean where the final Inmarsat ping was detected. But the ocean's currents and depths make pinpointing the wreckage incredibly difficult. For the families of the 239 people on board, the lack of closure is heartbreaking. Groups like Voice 370, formed by relatives, continue to push for answers. They've criticized Malaysia's handling of the investigation, citing delays and withheld information. The official report, released in 2015, concluded that MH370 likely crashed in the southern Indian Ocean but couldn't determine why. That's not enough for those left behind or for us. So what do we know for sure? MH370 took off, turned off course, flew for hours, and likely crashed in the southern Indian Ocean. Beyond that, it's a puzzle with missing pieces. Was it human error, sabotage, or something we haven't even considered? The black boxes, if ever found, could hold the key. Until then, MH370 remains a ghost in the sky, a reminder that even in our high-tech world, some mysteries defy explanation.
Here at Midnight Mysteries, we don't just tell stories, we chase the truth. I think MH370's wreckage is out there, waiting to be found. Maybe Ocean Infinity's next search will crack the case. Or maybe there's a clue we've all overlooked. What do you think happened to MH370? Was it the pilot, a hijacker, or something else entirely? Drop your theories in the comments below, and I'll pin my favorite. If this mystery has hooked you, hit the like button to let us know that you want more stories like this. Subscribe to Midnight Mysteries and hit the bell so that you never miss an episode. I drop new mysteries every week. Before you go, share this video with a friend who loves a good mystery. And if you have a theory about MH370 or a mystery you want me to cover, let me know in the comments as well. Until next time, keep questioning, keep searching, and stay curious. This is Jake, signing off from the shadows.